Super Bowl Sunday. Only, 10 hours away from Tom Brady hoisting his 7th Lombardi trophy?
Or Patrick Mahomes lifting his second.
Nah.
Okay, so we got Jared already in here. So I hedged my MVP prop bets. I took Mahomes at -105 for $5. It's probably free money, to be honest. And took four $1 bets on Evans, Godwin, Brown, and David, all at 35 or 1 or better. There you go. You should be making your money on that first one. Don't worry.
Nah, you won't. So I did basically the same thing he did. I didn't bet on Mahomes to win MVP, but I bet on Shaq Barrett to win MVP, Jamel Dean, and Devin White. I went all defense. He went like mostly offense with his. So see how it works out. I think if an offensive player wins on the Buccaneers, it's got to be Tom Brady to be. I don't think if we win the Super Bowl and it's an offensive player who wins MVP, it's going to be Tom Brady. I think same goes for the Chiefs too. I think the only way to not get MVP for the quarterbacks is if a defensive player makes like a game-winning play.
Or unless like Tyreek Hill catches like he ends up like 90 yards run after the catch for the game-winning touchdown or something.
Yeah,
like that.
or he gets like a punt return or something like that too.
Yeah.
I don't see a way that if the Chiefs win, Mahomes is not the MVP unless Tyrann Mathieu or like Chris Jones is the MVP.
That's fair. Anthony Hitchens, former Cowboy.
Yeah, got myself a good old ice cap here, eh?
There you go. Give me O's. I want the Bucs to win for Bush's and a few of my friends' sake, but I got the Chiefs in this one.
That is just a farce right there.
I don't see them losing, man. And they're just built different, you know?
Yeah.
They're built different. 15 catches for 265. Oh, yeah, that's Tyreek's line against you today.
Yeah, so that didn't include Jamel Dean the first time, and they're not going to play him the same way. And Vita Vea wasn't there, and their whole offensive line was healthy, and it's not right now.
Oh, yeah, plus, Jared, you forgot to predict the 4 touchdowns to go along with that.
Yeah, for Tyreek to catch a deep ball, Mahomes has to have time, and he ain't going to have time.
He can make his own time, to be honest.
He can make his own time, but I think they're going to do a good job containing him.
He's God tier. You gotta love it. I actually want to see what Andy Reid's game plan is because he knows what fucking Tall Bulls is going to scheme against him, theoretically. To capitalize on those O-line deficiencies.
Yeah, it should. The first thing that Mahomes said in his press conferences, I watched like literally every press conference from this week from both teams because I'm just a complete degenerate. But basically, what Mahomes said was like the first thing they asked him. Like someone asked him, like one of the international reporters from like Brazil or something was just like, what's the key to winning this game? Like the simplest question of all time. And he just goes, I got to get the ball out quick. It was like the first thing he said. So, I mean, I'd imagine their game plan is centered around trying to get Hardman and Hill and Kelsey the ball quickly.
Space, yeah.
Yeah. And get them in space. So tackling is going to be a big deal for us.
Yeah. Fun. Another fun prop I'll have is if a field goal or extra point or a PAT hidden upright. Yeah, man. You know, the Bucs are going to go down, tie the game, and then Suckup's just going to hit the extra point or hit the extra point off the bar.
Yeah, I've noticed so when we were doing the score bets, like me and my family are doing that.
Yeah.
I noticed it's probably not a good idea to bet on a score that involves you need a missed PAT from like Harrison Butker or Ryan Suckup because like these two kickers have been lights out all year.
Yeah, for sure. Super Bowl Lenny
incoming. Man, if Super Bowl Lenny is the thing, I'm going to be really sad because I have a $40 bet on Ronald Jones to get 100 rushing yards in this game. It's kind of a long shot. I probably need a long run from Rojo for him to get there because he'll probably only get like 12 to 15 carries. But if he has a 40, 50, 60-yard run in there, then I think he can get to 100. And honestly, the way that Bruce Arians has run the running back attack all season has been a hot hand type thing. So if Rojo comes out early and establishes the run and Fournette's maybe struggling, then they might favor for Rojo because, I mean, he's still the starting running back. Fournette's just been used more because Rojo's been hurt. So
For sure.
That's 19 to 1 odds too on that, which I thought, I mean, like it's a long shot him rushing for 100 yards, but I thought the odds should have been like 6 to 1 or something like a lot lower than 19 to 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just going to retweet your tweet. I just saw it.
Yeah. So we see all the quarterback news too. I'm a little surprised that Carson Wentz hasn't been traded yet.
Can we talk about this? How is Philly the one getting a pick for him? not to mention getting a pick. Like if it was third, I'm like, okay, whatever, fuck. A team's willingly giving a first to pick up that contract of a quarterback of coming off of that year. It makes no sense.
I mean, so I'm a little bit more in the camp of like, I'm pretty sure he had a bad year because like
his mechanics are shit.
Yeah, but the whole organization like didn't believe in him by the looks of it. So I think a change of scenery would help him. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL if he changes scenery, but I think he's going to be a better version of himself if he changes scenery. I think what you saw last year was his like floor. So if he goes to Indianapolis, which is a much better situation, or if he goes to Chicago, which I think at least you know that they want you and like appreciate you as a quarterback, like I think it's got to be a better situation than what it was in Philly last year. I'm not really sure what it does for everyone's pass catching and dynasty assets and stuff in those situations. I really have no idea, but yeah, I think it kind of downgrades Indianapolis a little bit just because people still have the thought in their mind in dynasty that Andrew Luck's coming back.
Yeah, like it upsets me though because like again, don't get me wrong, like you could pay a price hoping that somebody can return to their value, but what we saw off of Wentz last year, value should not even be close to a first round pick. I mean, we're talking about a guy like. Realistically, any of those top 4 quarterbacks that are going guaranteed first rounders, I'd take any one of them 10 times.
But if you're Chicago, though, you can't get there. Like you can't get up to get Zach Wilson. You can't get up to get Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Like you're not going to have the assets to do it unless you give 3 first-round picks to get up to get those guys.
So instead, you trade away the 20th overall pick to take on a $35 million contract.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's a good idea, but from a draft perspective, unless you're settling on Mac Jones, like you're not getting a quarterback from this class.
It's fair. At that point, I'd rather just move on to next year, to be honest.
I think I'd rather just play the year out with like, I would just go after like, let's just get Jameis Winston in Chicago, please.
Yeah, for real.
Or Indianapolis. So if Jameis Winston's in Indianapolis cold, I have shares of Jameis Winston like so many dynasty leagues. He was like a throw-in in trades for me last year because I was like, okay, he's probably not going to be very valuable this year, but I think he's going to be like Teddy Bridgewater and get like a starting job after this season.
Yeah, I agree. Jared said, "LOL, went to Chicago to replace Foles." The irony.
Yeah, literally.
It's so dumb. And I was talking about it today. I'm like, if Philly actually is able to turn Wentz in his contract and like Jamar Chase into fucking Zach Wilson or Rashad Bateman, I will cry. Because
they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna take a quarterback, man.
Why wouldn't they? You're at 6. Like, as much as I like Jalen Hurts, those 4 quarterbacks in this draft.
So why did you pick him last year? If you're just gonna give up on Jalen Hurts already, why would you pick him last year?
Well, did he show enough to keep you from fucking drafting one of the top 4?
I think so.
I'm not saying, man.
I would take those other 4 quarterbacks over Jalen Hurts, but you are admitting that you sunk a second round pick into an asset that is never going to be anything for you if you just take a new quarterback.
To be fair, he proved enough from a trade perspective that like you could probably net something back for him.
I don't think so, dude. So everyone thinks that I've seen this before. They're like Philly.
You don't think he can net a 3?
No, I don't.
Really?
If you draft a quarterback, they know you want to get rid of Jalen Hurts, and you'll get like a 4 or 5 for him.
Maybe.
I don't see why you even picked Jalen Hurts in the first place. Let's start with that. But
okay, real question though. What would you rather then? Wilson, Lance, or Fields in a 4th, or Hurts?
I don't. First of all, you're gonna have to trade up to get one of those quarterbacks at 6. I'm dead serious.
I'm saying if any one of them fell to you at 6.
But that's not the way that NFL teams look at things. They're not just like, oh, well, we'll just take whoever falls to us. They probably have their eye on one of those 3 guys.
To be honest, at this point, like because they're so close, I can see them liking all 3.
I'm sure they could like all three, but I don't think they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're just happy if whoever Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Zach Wilson falls to us. Like I'm sure they like one of them more than the others, or two of them more than the other one. Like there's no way that they're just equally graded on all three of them. Yeah. So Super Bowl wise, what do you got? I know. Okay, so you said you're taking the Chiefs. The line for the game is -3.
Yeah, I'll take.
Are you taking the Chiefs against the spread, or are you taking the Chiefs to win?
Both. I said on the live stream, I think it's going to be like 31-27. Chiefs.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think we're going to lose this game. The New Orleans game was the hurdle for Tampa Bay. I don't think they're losing this game. I'm a completely biased fan, but I literally picked New Orleans to beat us when we did our playoff challenge. So I'm not totally biased, but
I'll take the best quarterback in the NFL.
This is the team of destiny right now. Like this is the team that is going to hoist the trophy. I can feel it. The defense is playing out of their gourd right now. They're exactly the type of defense that'll give Mahomes problems.
To be fair, though, we're talking about narratives. On one hand, you got the narrative of Brady playing in his 10th, going for his 7th title. And on the other narrative, you're like, oh, Mahomes is going back-to-back, and he's trying to take the torch from Brady. So, like, either way, like, the media is going to have a wait another year. We'll see. Yeah, he'll wait another year to get his 3rd, you know?
No, dude, I don't see it. I just don't see it, man. If you look at the matchups on the field, because I think the playoffs are all about matchups. Like,
you guys are a more talented team.
It's not even just that. I think if you look at matchups along the field, if you go through the playoff matchups, it's not necessarily that the best team won. It's they won their matchups or whatever. So you have the Chiefs offensive line missing 4 of 5 starters, including their 2 best players on their offensive line. Their 3 best players, actually. And you have the Bucs defense that got Vita Vea back last week, who is the best player on their defense, and I will stand by that. Even though I love Levante David and Devin White and all those other guys, Vita Vea is the straw that stirs the drink for that defense because he occupies so much attention that it allows the linebackers, Barrett and Pierre-Paul, to run free and have one-on-ones, and the inside linebackers to run free and make plays. So I honestly just don't see a way that the trenches matchup between Tampa Bay's front 7 and Kansas City's offensive line is not completely one-sided. And the same goes on the other side of things. I'm not scared of Kansas City's front at all against our offensive line because our offensive line has shut down Washington's front and New Orleans' front in the last 3 weeks, or the last 4 weeks, I guess.
Dude, and the Packers, yeah.
And, the Packers front is pretty good. I guess they have Kenny Clark and those pass rushers. They weren't as good as they were last year, though.
Yeah, facts.
But New Orleans' front especially, and Washington's front, those 2 fronts are way better than Kansas City's. And we stifled them, like completely, no pressure whatsoever. I think Brady got hit like 3 times combined in those 2 games.
Dying. So at the end of the day, though,
you win and lose in the trenches. You played football. You know this. Yes, Mahomes is elite and Tyreek has so much speed, but football really just comes down to who wins and loses the trenches like half the time, at least.
And I get that too, but at the end of the day here.
And who's going to create turnovers too? And the Chiefs defense ain't as good at it as the Bucs defense. They have some playmakers on their defense that can create turnovers like Tyrann Mathieu and L'Jarius Sneed and stuff, but we have like our 3rd best safety is like leading our team in interceptions. We're so deep at playmakers.
I get that the Chiefs are probably more quote unquote likely to create or get or you know what I mean, like turn the ball over.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
we're likely to turn the ball over too. The style of our offense.
I trust Mahomes to keep the ball clean too. To be fair,
did you trust Aaron Rodgers to do that? The MVP of the NFL.
I think Mahomes is going to ball the fuck out, though, bro. I know I've always said, like, from a roster standpoint, the Bucs have a better top to bottom roster.
I don't like this narrative. Everyone is just doing this. They're like, oh, I'm just going to pick Mahomes. But, like, why?
It's not just Mahomes because I honestly think the 3 best players in the game are on the Chiefs side. Maybe the 4 best.
You're saying Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are better than Tom Brady
at this point in his career, yes.
In a Super Bowl,
okay, in the Super Bowl, okay, maybe you want to use a factor there, but I'm just saying, like at their position,
the guy who threw 40 touchdowns at 43 years old.
Yeah, he's the 8th best quarterback in the league. He's really good, but Tyreek Hill's the best.
Why do people continue to bet against this man? I don't get it.
We'll see.
I kind of get his thing now because I'm like, why is this guy so psychotic? He still thinks he's like an underdog, even though he's like the greatest of all time. There's still people like you that are going to bet against him.
I don't dislike him.
And I honestly, if this was the Patriots against the against the Chiefs and they had the roster the Bucs were, it's not my team, I would still take Brady.
Patty McGoat's going to have his 7 Super Bowls over his career, you know?
The matchups don't line up, man. I'm telling
Dude,
you.
what if
a game of matchups? The playoff football is a game of matchups, especially in the Super Bowl.
What if Mahomes is in the new Brady when it comes to the playoffs?
Don't bet against playoff Tom Brady.
What if playoff Patrick Mahomes ends up being better? Oh, I spilled my coffee all over myself.
Yeah, exactly. Nate agrees with me. Ridiculous. The best player in this game is Tom Brady. Not even a question. Decision making under pressure is what counts in the Super Bowl, and he's the best at that. And not only is that true, Nate, he won't be under pressure because the Chiefs front cannot get to him. And the opposite will be true for Patrick Mahomes because our front will bully their backup offensive line. Think about any other quarterback, not Patrick Mahomes, because he's a freak of nature. And if he wins this game, he's on his path to being the most talented quarterback of all time.
He already is, bro.
He already is on that path. But if he does, this is another feather in his cap. If any quarterback has their entire offensive line hurt against a front like this, they're going to struggle in some capacity.
Yeah, until freaking.
Hey,
there you go. That's what's up.
Love that.
Love seeing him back.
Yeah, Moneybags, haven't seen you in a while. Make sure you stick around for off-season content, too. I don't know if you play in any Dynasty leagues, but I highly suggest you start playing in some Dynasty leagues. And if you want an official introduction into Dynasty leagues, you can see at the bottom of the screen, you can get into our Listener Dynasty League.
100%. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, as always, and you see that little banner running across the screen, make sure you go to fantasystockshave.com. The link will be in the description of any of our recent videos, to be honest. You click that. We actually have our rookie draft guide, Dynasty draft guide, available on the site for pre-order right now. 2 free articles up there, my Jaylen Waddle, Bush's Travis Etienne. Even if you just want to go on and check those 2 articles to see how we write, first of all, you don't know if you're going to buy it. Read those articles, see how you enjoy them, and let me tell you, they got some good content in them.
Yeah.
And once you do that, just feel free. Again, you'll get a prompt too if you put your email in.
You watch the video on the site too to tell you what's in the draft guide. Anyway, enough of the promos.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Nate says Hill and Kelsey do scare me though. Yeah, Hill scares me. Kelsey doesn't.
Kelsey doesn't scare you?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, I can't wait for
Kelsey doesn't scare me because the way Kelsey works is not it plays into the strength of our defense.
Fair, but I can't wait for you guys to realize what Hilty did to you last time you played. Fucking
they're not going to play cover one against Tyreek Hill with a 4-5-5 corner in one-on-one coverage with him again. And even on those
what
plays,
was that game plan?
Carlton was that close on all of those plays, even in that terrible game plan. So if that is Jamel Dean, first of all, and not Carlton Davis, he gets there. And two, they're not going to make that game plan again. They're not going to go in and play press man on Tyreek Hill with no help. If they play press man on Tyreek Hill, they'll have help over the top.
Why was your game plan playing primary cover one against them?
Okay, so what the thing is, and this is true about Tyreek Hill. I've heard NFL corners say this. He gets rattled if he's beaten up at the line. So you got to get in his face. You cannot let him sit back and just catch underneath stuff because he'll burn you after the catch. So basically what you have to do for Tyreek Hill is you got to get in his face. And the only way you can feel comfortable doing that is if you have help. So Antoine Winfield Jr. needs to be his personal chaperone over the top. And if it's Carlton Davis, which it probably will be because he's their best corner and they trust him the most in press man, if they put Carlton Davis on the line against Tyreek Hill, bump and run, press man coverage, you need Antoine Winfield Jr. over the top or Jordan Whitehead, one of the two. But he cannot be on an island like he was last game that they played in week 12.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you don't want him to go off for another, 270 yards?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Man, that bothered me too, for the record, because he could have easily broke the fucking record if they just wanted to keep giving him the ball. They just stopped giving him the ball.
I can't wait till, and this is going to happen. You know the Michael Jordan meme when it's like, and I took that personally. When Devin White does a cameo on the sideline of him calling and goes, send help, because we have 4 turnovers on Patrick Mahomes like Tyreek Hill was doing in week 12. That's the vision I have in my head because I think this defense is the defense wins this game. I'm saying it right now. This is the game that the defense wins.
We'll see. I still
I'm
got the
calling it right
Chiefs,
now.
man.
I don't think this is Tom Brady's game to win. And that's why I like the defensive players to win Super Bowl MVP. I don't think this is an offensive game for Tampa Bay.
No, you're right. It isn't Tom Brady's game to win because it's Mahomes' game to win.
It's this game. This game comes down to the Chiefs offense versus the Bucs defense. That is the matchup on the field. I actually don't think the Bucs offense is going to be all that spectacular in this game. I think they're probably going to do what they did against Green Bay, for example, just put points on the board, take advantage of good field position from the many turnovers that our defense can create, and just take advantage of that, run the ball, because that's what the Chiefs can't defend. I just don't see a way where Tom Brady throws like 5 touchdowns and like 400 yards. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, fuck. For real.
If it does, that'd be really impressive, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Money bags. I honestly... Okay, I don't know how it's going to affect them.
I don't think it affects it at all. I mean, the fact that they got to like sleep in their own bed last night and like that helps a little bit, I guess. And they didn't have like a huge media fest like for a week-long thing. I guess they did, but it was on Zoom, so it's not like you have to travel to shit. So, I mean, I think it affects them a little bit, but I'm not honestly thinking it's like, oh yeah, it's a home field advantage, like because they can't even fire the cannons when they score a damn touchdown, which is bullshit.
Who y'all got today? Man, I got the Chiefs. I think they're going to cover. I said 31-27 is going to be my score prediction here.
Tampa Bay.
Predict that score.
You guys have never noticed that football behind me? This is the Super Bowl MVP I'm going to have written on this, and that would be one Devin White, number 45. This is an official autograph from Pristine Auction. If you guys have ever heard of that, you probably have. You've listened to other fantasy podcasts, but yeah, this is an autograph football of Devin White that's about to go up in value after this game. So, yeah,
we'll see. $1.99 super chat from Lamar Gaming. He says, unrelated, but thoughts on Pat Freiermuth in Dynasty. We're gonna be talking about him a lot in the draft guide as well for the article.
Yeah. So, just real quick
rundown
before we talk about any kind of rookies, we're gonna have a rookie mock draft, a first round rookie mock draft on the channel tomorrow, at some point tomorrow. So. If you guys want to stay tuned for that, we're going to give you our thoughts, one, about the first round in general and what a first round pick is valued at this year, where the kind of tier breaks as we see them. And then we'll go over kind of who we see in the first round. I think the more important conversation, obviously, is the tier breaks and stuff like that, because, I mean, everyone's going to have differing opinions, right? Some people are going to like Devontae Smith over Jamar Chase and vice versa. Some people are going to like Najee Harris over Travis Etienne and vice versa. It's all differing thoughts, but the tier breaks are really what's important. But Pat Freiermuth is your question, basically. He's a tight end too, but to be honest, no one is in the neighborhood of Kyle Pitts. Like it's not even close, in my opinion. Like Kyle Pitts will be a first round pick. Spoiler alert for tomorrow. And I don't know if Freiermuth even sniffs like the early second round. He'll probably be a late second round, mid second round pick.
Tight end premium, obviously his value would go up to.
Yes, yeah. But I honestly would much rather, if someone is eyeing Freiermuth with a pick or something like that, I would much rather trade that pick. Like maybe you have a mid-second rounder and they want to trade you for it to get Freiermuth. I'd rather trade a mid-second rounder for a veteran tight end now. If you could get Jonnu Smith, who's entering free agency, for a mid-second round pick, or if you could get, I don't know, even like someone like Gerald Everett, I think I'd rather have than Pat Freiermuth.
Really? I would take Freiermuth over Everett.
I mean, it's all going to depend on draft capital and stuff like that, but Pat Freiermuth to me is kind of an unspectacular tight end who kind of does everything well. He reminds me a lot of Cole Kmet from last year, where he's
way better than Kmet for the record.
I didn't see anything crazy, but I think Cole Kmet honestly is someone I'd rather have than Pat Freiermuth, like straight up.
Ooh, I disagree again.
I already know he's his tight end one in his situation, and you get that year of development already under his belt for Cole Kmet, so you'll probably be able to use him for fantasy purposes earlier.
I will say though, mid-second round is probably around the area you'll see for him. Mid to late second round. Again, in a non-tight end premium league, if you're not like Kyle Pitts going to go in the first round because he's going to have the elite draft capital and he's going to have the elite usage in the NFL right away. Pat Freiermuth's probably going to be around a top 50 or so pick.
He'll probably be a second, third round NFL draft pick. I'd probably say
I put him in the second
round. I think he goes in the second round of the NFL draft.
Yeah. And with that being said, I mean, like, yeah, he's a really good prospect. I like what I see from him. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NFL. The problem is that the position is not valuable to the point unless you're getting top 5 production. And realistically, if you can't peg Pat Freiermuth in for top 5 production within the first 2 years, spending anything more than a mid to late second round pick is just a waste of resources.
That's what my thoughts are just on rookie tight ends in general. to be honest, is that I would rather trade a second round rookie pick for a veteran tight end, because I already know that veteran tight end, whether he's a second year player, third year player, he's been in the league for 6 years. I know that guy's going to help me right away to some degree. So I'd rather not have to wait that year and a half, 2 years, sometimes 3 years that it takes tight ends to develop in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. I agree to a degree because let's be honest, NFL or in the NFL on offense, tight end is the position aside from quarterback that takes the most time to really learn and get nurtured in. Yeah, because you have so many different assignments, right? You look at receivers, you look at running backs, they typically make year one impacts. What tight end have you really seen, maybe aside from like TJ Hawkinson?
Even George Kittle, like he had a couple games towards the end of the season when Jimmy Garoppolo first came to the Niners. But I mean, he was a popular breakout pick, I guess, but no one was really impressed with George Kittle. No one was like, yeah, this guy's going to be the tight end one. Like no one knew he was going to be the tight end one in fantasy, like in Dynasty for like the longest time after that. Like I don't think tight ends are all that valuable in fantasy. I'd rather cycle veteran tight ends than I would draft like a really young tight end. If you're going to get a young tight end, I would rather go for broke and spend up and get a Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Darren Waller, like someone who's very valuable. Middle tier tight ends and stuff like that. I'd rather just wait at the position.
Agreed.
And try and spot breakouts too. We say this in redraft all the time. It's best to just try and spot breakouts with the tight end position, which is why I invested heavily in guys like Jonnu Smith. This is why I'll be investing heavily in Cole Kmet and Irv Smith this year. Guys that could potentially break out and increase their value a lot. I just don't think you're going to see that from a guy like Pat Freiermuth unless he lands in a situation that is ripe for the picking. He has like the tight end one job locked and loaded right away, which probably isn't going to happen, in my opinion.
For sure. And it's actually funny because I remember going into last season, during the offseason, people kept asking me, like, what are your main factors of spotting a breakout tight end? How do you do it? Like, what do you look for when you're actually evaluating it? And I actually, we had a couple episodes again during the offseason where I basically broke down my process. And in my process, sorry about that.
You got to shut the alarm off, not hit snooze.
I did. I just have so many alarms.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you need to wake up at a decent time then.
But yeah, the three main observation points that I look for are, first of all, I mean, he's got to have natural talent. I mean, I know this is like kind of like a no shit, like he's got to be talented, but when you're really looking at it, like further development in an offense is going to come to players that are efficient, that are talented, that can do things with the ball in their hands. It's not just going to happen because a guy's in line to quote unquote receive the vacated.
It usually requires some opportunity of some degree too. Like maybe there's vacated production because someone was traded or wasn't re-signed or left the team or got injured or something like that. So that's usually a big factor. That's one of the reasons I was so on Jonnu Smith this year, is because Delanie Walker, I believe he retired, but he was not with the Titans anymore. So that was a big thorn in his side. Plus, I mean, the only thing that really stopped Jonnu Smith's breakout was Corey Davis's breakout. And that's what I said before the season. And if Jonnu Smith is back and Corey Davis is not, I'm going to be on Jonnu Smith again.
Yeah, same. But yeah.
That was a long-winded answer on Pat Freiermuth, but
either way,
tight end discussion.
Natural talent, first of all, they have to be talented. Efficiency on targets. If they have a limited target sample, you can project forward that they're going to.
It usually helps if they're like a second or third year player too, and you want to see them kind of go up in opportunity gradually. Like with Jonnu Smith,
clear path to more targets.
When Delanie Walker went down in 2019, Jonnu Smith was playing like a 70-80% snap share, which was really indicative of him being on the field a lot and being the starting tight end, which is why I felt so confident about him going into the season. And it was looking really good until the Titans COVID situation and then Jonnu getting hurt in like week 5 or whatever it was.
Hey, PS4 gang, PS4, PlayStation.
Yeah, literally.
Is the rookie mock draft tomorrow going to be for Superflex or 1QB?
Okay, so we only play in Superflex Dynasty leagues, so we will primarily be talking about Superflex from here on out, but we will have a discussion about how that changes in Superflex and 1QB and how the tiers change in tomorrow's mock draft. So if you only play in 1QB leagues, then you'll still have a lot of value to take away from it. And even still, I think the underlying concept is the same. You just got to bump quarterbacks down. Yeah. It's like if we pick Trevor Lawrence at the 101 in a non-super flex,
109
there, but he's still the tier break at quarterback.
Yeah. Like, again, like this is a guy who's the 101 in Superflex.
And we can do a 1 QB one later in the offseason as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe in 1 QB ones and you want to see that.
Spice it up for you guys.
Yeah.
Second year Herbert or rookie Trevor Lawrence? I'm taking Herbert. I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yeah.
As much potential and as good as I think Trevor Lawrence can be, it's like the class. You go on Twitter, it's like the classic mystery box. Like people just are enamored with shiny new products. I mean, we're talking about Justin Herbert, who literally broke
one offensive rookie of the year.
Offensive rookie of the year, broke the rookie touchdown record. And quite frankly, looking at it alone from a situation standpoint, one has the Chargers with Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Jaylen Guyton, Mike Williams, and to be honest, they have
a coach that we like. I mean, I think everyone, everyone is really impressed with. And I mean, I know he's a defensive coach, but I still trust
what Lombardi's good too.
Yeah, I still trust what the Chargers have put around Herbert more than I do what the Jaguars have put around Trevor Lawrence. And we haven't seen Urban Meyer is a college coach, and he could be good in the NFL, but we don't know that yet. And I think everyone gets carried away with just assuming that everything's going to work out. And I honestly believe this. I've heard people say this all the time. It's like, why do we even evaluate quarterbacks and no one knows what the hell they're talking about? And the reason I think that is true is because I think landing spots almost as important, if not more important, than talent for the quarterback position. And if the Jags are not a good landing spot from a coaching perspective, maybe they can't get their offensive line figured out. Weapons are kind of there, I guess. But if they can't support Trevor Lawrence the way that the Bills did with Josh Allen, the way that the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson, the way that the Browns have with Baker Mayfield, then he's not going to be successful unless he is this all-world talent that can overcome all obstacles, which he definitely could be. But we don't know that for sure quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, we look at it like, what have they done?
Anyone can do it. It's Lawrence.
What have they done this offseason? Yeah, for the record, Trevor Lawrence, you're going to see on the draft guide, I have a pretty crazy grade on him.
Yeah, mine is the second highest grade I've ever given a quarterback.
Mine is the highest. Mine is the highest. But yeah, you're looking at it. I mean, what have they done this offseason really like inspire your feelings on? Like
they hired Darrell Bevel and Brian
Schottenheimer. Yeah,
those are two guys that are one, run first coaches, and two are kind of old school and haven't really innovated very much.
Smash mouth.
It looks like Seattle was going to be this team that was innovative this early in the season, and the reality of that situation was that they were playing the Dallas Cowboys and Atlanta Falcons defenses that just sucked.
I will say though, based off what we've seen, I'm kind of interested to see what they do at the running back position in the draft, because we've seen like Schottenheimer over the years, like in Seattle, he hasn't really like leaned on just one guy.
Just book Trey Sermon to the Jags. Just book it. Such a Jags pick.
Oh, please. Yeah, what if they just took like Javonte Williams and all the James Robinson?
Oh, I'd laugh so hard because I would just be shouting "I told you so" to everybody who put James Robinson in their top 10 dynasty running backs.
God. Had to come back on and check on you boys. Much love. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Appreciate that 25. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Love seeing you back. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, we'd like to do more live streams too. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to coordinate this. Maybe we'll make it like
anything.
Once free agency kicks up and NFL draft season kicks up, I'm sure we'll have better numbers in terms of you guys viewing the channel. I know probably a lot of people were a little sick of fantasy football for a bit, decided to take a break, but I expect all of you guys once March hits and we get into free agency and draft stuff that you guys are really engaging with the channel, because I think that this is the most interesting time of the year for me personally. So hopefully you guys are able to stick around. We'll do more live streams and we'll talk more listener Q&A about your guys' own dynasty teams and some of the moves that happen throughout the offseason as well.
For sure. Got to go fire up the grill. You guys having a post Super Bowl show?
I mean, I'm going to be pretty drunk.
He's going to be drunk, yeah.
I'm going to be pretty drunk, so I don't know if I want to be doing that to you guys and making me win, especially if the Bucks win too. I'm going to just be super obnoxious. And if the Bucks lose, I'm honestly not going to want to do it. So
there you go.
I mean, maybe if the Bucks win, there's a better chance that I want to do it than if the Bucks lose. I'll just put it that way.
That's fair. Yeah. If you guys have the athleticism, what
position? The easiest question I'll ever answer in my life, and the answer is corner.
Well, for me, like I still somewhat have aspirations of playing again. Maybe we'll see. And for me, I mean, it's going to be linebacker. It's going to be fullback because that's what I've grown up playing my whole fucking life.
I mean,
It's
anytime you can
second nature.
go try and pursue a career in the highest paid position in football, like fullback, then you got to do it.
Okay, if we're talking about like theoretically,
If you have the athleticism, like you're a 5-star high school recruit, you're
okay,
going to college, you had a Trevor Lawrence like career.
I'd be a quarterback. What the heck? Because I can get paid 35, 40 million a year.
I would be Charles Woodson. I would want to be like a shutdown, lockdown corner, like just cocky as hell. Like I would love to be that type of position. I'd love to be Jaylen Ramsey coming out of Florida State or something. Like I would love that.
I could just imagine being a fucking quarterback though, and hopefully I don't get drafted to the Jags. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
But
I honestly think Trevor Lawrence, I'd be higher on him for fantasy purposes if he went to the Jets.
oh no, definitely would. I mean,
Like
with Robert Saleh
situations as Ed Reed. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, but no, I thought he meant in real life because in real life I grew up linebacker, fullback.
No, I mean in real life too. He said if you have the athleticism, you're given. You can literally pick what you're literally playing theoretical Madden, where you're creating a player, you're creating yourself as like an elite prospect, and you have the athleticism and the talent to play any position you want. Being an absolute dog corner would be awesome.
That's fair. No, I was just thinking about it from a realistic mindset because of what I played. So I'm like, okay, if I could get back there, I'd do that. But
I'm also, you literally need to figure out your shit. I'm also not a big guy, so I can't envision myself playing defensive line. So I can't get on board with that.
Yeah, I'm a thick dude, so I'm used to fucking.
It would be pretty dope to be an elite edge rusher, something like Aaron Donald or something. Imagine being Aaron Donald, like how dope that would be.
Oh yeah, I am Aaron Donald, you know.
Yeah.
Him and wait, before we get on to the next question, him and DK Metcalf were talking about bench press in the offseason. And DK is like, oh yeah, I could do 350 a couple times, like just throw it up. And Aaron Donald's like 350. I'm doing 500. And I'm like, wait, what?
Aaron Donald's a fucking freak of nature, dude. I think if Aaron Donald played running back, he'd probably make the Pro Bowl. Like honestly, like I don't even think that guy's limited in any capacity. He'd probably be better than James Robinson too.
Yeah, dude, I can do like 300 for one, like 225 for about 14 reps, and I'm hearing this guy doing 500. I'm like, okay,
that's stupid, dude. That's like actually stupid.
I'm doing his curling weight pretty much. Yeah, that's crazy. Niners will be back in that Super Bowl game next year. Now you
got to get a quarterback first, but
you gotta get past the Cowboys and Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, if the Niners get a good quarterback next year, they definitely could be back in that game.
If they got like Watson, okay, but
just honestly, Kyle Shanahan, just make all of us happy. Go trade your next 2 first-round picks and your 2 seconds this year. Maybe throw in another player, D Ford or something.
Heck, throw 3 first.
And go up and get Zach Wilson. Just do it.
I thought you were talking about Deshaun.
Like, okay, so theoretically, if you're the Dolphins, or I don't know, maybe the Bengals, like someone in that like range, maybe the Eagles even too, and Zach Wilson's still on the board, and the Niners call you and they offer you 12, they offer you next year's first, they offer you a second this year, and they offer you D Ford.
I don't want D Ford contract.
Okay, so I don't know, whatever. Maybe they offer you another pick instead. Do you want I think that'd be a great spot for Philly to trade down because you can take a receiver potentially at a better value.
Not. Fuck Philly, bro.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals too. I think the Bengals maybe if Sewell's off the board, maybe they don't have Slater rated as high or something like that. I really like the idea of trading up for the Niners. I think the draft is where they should go, and I think it's telling that they didn't offer 12 for Matt Stafford because they probably want to keep that option open for them to potentially go up for quarterback.
For the record, I hope like Philly just like stays put and takes like Micah Parsons at 6 or something like that.
Oh, dude, if they don't take Jamar Chase if he's there, that is a complete miss.
How many years of rebuilding do you expect the Jags to take to make a playoff run? They need a complete overhaul of their roster.
Honestly think it's either going to be quick or not happening at all. I think it's either going to be Trevor Lawrence is a freak of nature and we can rebuild very quickly because of how good he is, or we're struggling to put pieces around Trevor Lawrence, similar to what we saw from Indianapolis and Andrew Luck. I could see it's going either one of 2 directions, I think. It's either Lawrence steps in and he's like Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes type, where he's just instantly like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Dak Prescott.
That's exactly not what happened, but
come
they
on.
They had a good team around him. They didn't have the Jags.
Hey, he was still really good his rookie year.
Yeah, either way. I think the Jags need to make sure they got the right guys in the house. I just personally don't believe in Urban Meyer that much. I think he's a great college coach, good program builder and all that stuff, but I got to believe it to see it. And from what he's hired on his staff, I don't believe it personally.
Agreed. I'd be Ed Reed rolling the secondary. Yeah, and like number 94 behind me as well. That guy was a fucking beast too.
Being Lawrence Taylor would be a lot of fun on the field, but probably not a lot of fun off of it.
Yeah, this guy's just snorting coke in his fucking.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a fucked up life. But yeah, being Lawrence Taylor on the field would be awesome.
Facts.
Like you are literally just physically more dominant than everybody around you.
Okay, so just quarterbacks. I'd say your depth's a little thin at the.
And he probably didn't list a lot of his depth here, but okay. So who should I like? So with the 104, 204, and 205, that 104 pick to me kind of screams quarterback to me.
Yeah, I agreed.
You said it's a super flex, so I'd imagine at the 104, this is an interesting kind of discussion where the public sees tier breaks. To me, I think these 4 quarterbacks can all play. I don't think I see really too much of a difference between any of them, and I think landing spot's really going to determine who ends up being ranked higher than the other.
With the 3, like 2 to 4.
Sorry, with the 3, even though Trevor Lawrence is like not in the greatest situation, he's still the 101. Like I can't not do it. But if you're at the 104, you are guaranteed one of them. Just mathematically, you're guaranteed one of the top 4 quarterbacks, and I think that would be the direction I go. But it is interesting knowing that your running back situation is a little thin as well. Yeah. If Travis Etienne and Najee Harris land in great spots, and let's say Fields and Lawrence go at the 102, or in the top 3 picks, and then maybe one of those running backs goes at the 103 or something like that, and you have Travis Etienne on the Cardinals staring you down at 104, man, that'd be hard to pass for me over like.
From his perspective, because he's got some youth, he's got Gibson, he's got Ridley, he's got Claypool, and to some degree, you still got Waller, who's 27?
Yeah.
Robert Onion, 25. Like, so you got some youth on your team.
And I think you're probably better suited going for running backs in the second round.
Yeah.
Than with the 104.
The problem is that like
they thin out, but the quarterbacks thin out harder.
Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. Like you take the quarterback with the 104, but even 204, 205, like I would
you might have a shot at like Michael Carter there, or
I wouldn't take a running back is what I'm saying. I would just rather just stock up a receivers at that point because I don't trust any. Again, landing spots depend a ton. If some of those guys like Carter or Kylan Hill or get an incredible landing spot, I'd be more okay with taking them with that pick. The problem to me is from a talent standpoint, you got those 3 running backs, and to me, like you got some good complementary backs behind them, but I don't necessarily view any of them as being like top 15.
This running back class is not good. I'm going to say that right now. It's not good. It's the top 2 guys personally for me in a tier of their own, and then Javonte Williams is in a tier of his own.
Yeah.
And I don't really see too many guys that I'm impressed with. Some people are going to hype up Jamar Jefferson. Some people are going to hype up Ramondre Stevenson and Kenny Gainwell and Trey Sermon and stuff like these guys. They're complimentary backs in the NFL, all of them. None of them are feature backs, in my opinion. Some of them might have the size. Some of them might have the speed. Some of them might have the elusiveness. Some of them might have the tackle breaking ability. Some of them might have the receiving ability, but none of them have all of them.
If you can
in a feature back.
Yeah, like at the 204, 205, I know you like receivers, you're like your deepest position.
That's not a good spot to be in my opinion. Yeah. Of the draft, the 204 and 205 to me is about the time when receivers are going to fall off too.
Maybe see if you can do something like 204, 205 and like next year's second and try to get up to like the 110 or something like that could probably be a move you could look at.
I don't think if you're going for Williams there, I don't think you're going to get him at the 110.
I'm saying like that way you're in the top tier. So regardless if it's Williams or if it's one of those top 5 receivers.
He doesn't really need Pitts because he has Waller and Tom.
No. I'm assuming Pitts is going to be gone by 10 for the record. But like any of the top 4 receivers, and when I'm talking top 4 receivers, I'm not talking Rondale Moore, Seth Williams, whatever these dynasty people want to say on Twitter. I'm talking about Jamar Chase, Jaylen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman. Those are the top 4 receivers. And anybody that's actually watched the film will tell you that too. Yeah. If any of those guys, hypothetically, if you're doing the math, one of those 4 running backs, one of the 4 quarterbacks,
I think all 4 quarterbacks should go in the top 10 picks. If they don't, I think you'd be in a great spot. Do you think that's a possibility, low key? In Superflex drafts, where did Justin Herbert go last year?
Oh, dude, he was like a late first, early second round pick.
So what are the odds that one of these dudes is a late first, early second round pick?
Draft capital.
He went 6 overall, bro. Justin Herbert went number 6 overall.
Yeah, like
I think people just slept on him, honestly. I don't think they're going to do the same thing. If Trey Lance, I honestly think all of these quarterbacks are going off the board in the top 10 at minimum, probably top 7 or 8 picks. If these guys are all top 8 NFL draft picks, I don't see a way where any of them slip outside the top 10. And if they do, that's just incredible value.
Man, I'm going to have a hard time because, again, like from an NFL scouting perspective, Lance is my quarterback 4. But I'm going to have a hard time not having as the quarterback 2 from a fantasy perspective, given what he does.
My quarterback 4 from an NFL scouting perspective and stuff like that, but it's really going to hinge on landing spot. It doesn't like you.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're all super close. But
anyway, that was a long-winded answer. I think your roster definitely needs a running back and a quarterback. Yeah. How you maneuver that is kind of up to you, I guess. With that 104 pick, I would definitely address one of those two positions.
Quarterback for me.
Honestly, that 204 and 205 could be a position where you move those for veterans too. Could you want to go for a veteran running back with those picks?
Theoretically, could you possibly flip like Matt Ryan in the 204 and move up into like the top 7 or 8?
I don't know. That'd be tough, man. I think you could flip both the second rounders for like what kind of running back do you think you could get for those?
Well, let me look at my rankings real quick and I can kind of get an idea of like who would be available at that.
I would rather have Ronald Jones than the 204. For Dynasty, personally, I would rather have Ronald Jones. He's 23 years old.
It's close, yeah. Here, let me see if I can find it.
22. He's 23 years old. Yeah, but he's been in the NFL for like 3 years, and he has pretty much an 1,000-yard season under his belt too. And Leonard Fournette's a free agent.
Let me check just type of running backs that would be available at that type of price too.
I think that's about the range you're looking at. Is like Ronald Jones, Chris Carson, probably like something like that. You already have Chris Carson on your roster.
Yeah, I got Ronald Jones my RB 19, right? Wait, no, that's not my ranking.
I think he's my 18 or 19.
Yeah, that's your rankings. I was looking at yours for a second. Even like Dave Montgomery.
I think the David Montgomery owner might take that. If you offered him 2 2s for David Montgomery, they might take that.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad. Yeah. Just looking at it down, I gotta fill this out by the way. Yeah, frick. I don't know. I would also evaluate. Obviously, again, free agency is going to change a lot of that because landing spots are going to help with that too. Like if Aaron Jones is not a Packer, AJ Dillon could be well worth that as well. Yeah. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
What are the chances of Fields?
Zero chance. I think Fields is the second quarterback off the board. Personally, I think the NFL is going to like Fields second most out of these top 4.
Yeah, Juan, it's the basic economic concept of supply and demand. You got 4 stud quarterbacks and many quarterback needy teams in that top 10. So,
yeah, and not only in the top 10, you got the Niners at 12, you got the Patriots at 15, you got the Colts at 22 or whatever they pick. You have the Washington football team at 18 or 19, wherever they pick.
19.
Like, it's just way too many quarterback needy teams for any of these guys to make it outside the top like 8 or 9, maybe 10 picks max. And I think Fields has, of the 3 that aren't Trevor Lawrence, has the least chance of falling just because he has the high school pedigree. He went to the big school, and we've seen him perform on a number of different big stages too. And the NFL tends to value that stuff pretty highly, even though I personally would take Fields 4th out of those guys because I think he has more questions than Lance and Wilson and Lawrence do. But I think the NFL is going to take him very, very high.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again,
I is potentially number 2 to the Jets.
So for the record, I have Fields as my quarterback too, but right now, but quite literally, any of those 3 guys can take your pick because they're all really talented, really good young players. It's going to be landing spot for me between them. That's how I'm going to decipher between them for my ultimate fantasy rankings. If one of them lands on the Panthers and the other one lands on like the Jets, obviously I'm going to favor the one that's on the Panthers. It's just things like that, the little intricacies. Again, I talk about that. Obviously, again, for the most part, you want to value a player's talent, like when you're in your rookie drafts. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire over like Jonathan Taylor. But at the same time, if they're similar in talent and the one has a huge landing spot discrepancy, I'm fine with making that little shuffle up. Like that's not a problem for me because ultimately here, especially at the quarterback position, development is everything. They're not going to, for the most part, they're not going to step in day one and just command
the finished product that Trevor Lawrence is like the only one who has a chance to do that, in my opinion. And I say that probably of the last like 5 years is Trevor Lawrence probably has one of the only chances to step in and be great right away. I value landing spot for quarterbacks a lot more than most people do because I think it is literally the difference between a bust and a superstar. Sometimes, I honestly think if Josh Allen went for second or third overall to the Jets instead of Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold went to the Buffalo Bills, we might be having the same conversations about Sam Darnold that we have about Josh Allen right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another $1.99 super chat from Lamar Gaming. Appreciate that a ton. He says thoughts on Josh Jacobs next year.
Okay, so Nathan, here's a guy, Chris Collinsworth quote right there. I think this is a dude you might be able to get for 2-2s. If you offered the Josh Jacobs owner 2-2s, they might take that, honestly, because there's some bad news surrounding Josh Jacobs right now, potential DUI that he got. He might be facing legal situations.
A little bit of a nutcase right now, yeah.
Definitely probably league discipline of some kind, so he's probably going to get suspended for a couple of games. I think Jacobs is completely undervalued right now. I think people are just completely giving up on this dude. And he's a guy that I'm willing to buy at a pretty decently low price because I think his value is as low as it's ever going to be.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Again, Josh Jacobs is still a guy on his rookie contract who has finished as a top 10 running back in his previous 2 years.
And he's got first round draft capital and he broke the PFF elusiveness record.
He's on a team that wants to give him the ball.
Yeah. And the offense should get better in Las Vegas this year. Hopefully, if they can add some receivers and their young receivers can develop more, it should take pressure off Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs is undervalued for sure. I'm interested. You said for next year, so maybe you're talking about redraft. For redraft purposes, I'm not exactly sure where he's going to go in draft.
Second.
I think it hinges on if he gets suspended or not, too. Because if he gets suspended, he's probably a 4th, 5th round pick. If he gets a 4-game suspension or something
I'd nab him there any chance.
I think I would too, but Josh Jacobs is going to be an interesting discussion next year because I think there's going to be a lot of people split on him because there was last year.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem that people are going to have with him again is like, oh, well, he's 3.5 yards per carry,
Their whole line was hurt all year, too.
It doesn't care about fantasy, Like, I don't care. If this guy's going to scream to me at third round and people are going to make that narrative. Oh, he played us on his Instagram story. Let's dock him a whole round in ADP.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. And if this guy's, say, hypothetically, he's not suspended and he's like an early third round type pick, and you could start your drafts with like McCaffrey, I don't know, like George Kittle and him, like that's smash. That's easy.
I do think he belongs in RB2 range, so I don't think he's going to be in RB1 range. I don't think he deserves to be there, especially. And even if he doesn't get suspended, I don't think I'm going to have him in RB1 range.
He's probably going to be in like the 13 to 15 type area for me, if I were to guess.
Yeah. He's probably a guy that I can't have until the third round. If he's a second round pick, I'm probably going to be out on him. Same.
Like right now, off my head, would you rather J.K. Dobbins or him next year?
J.K. Dobbins.
Cam Akers or him? I think that's a no-brainer. DeAndre Swift or him?
If Jacobs doesn't get suspended, I'll take Jacobs.
Antonio Gibson or him?
Gibson.
Any of the two rookies, if they get like decent landing spots, we'll say hypothetically?
If they're top 50 NFL draft picks in positions to start, I will take both of them over Jacobs.
Yep, same. So realistically, again, and then you got the givens like Eckler, Aaron Jones, Zeke, Henry, etc. going up. That already lands him at like RB17 type area.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the range of guys like David Montgomery. Maybe if Chris Carson's back in Seattle, if he's back there, he'd probably be in that range too. Joe Mixon's a good one too. Yeah, those guys that are volume kings, basically, they get the volume, but they're not necessarily doing a whole lot with it. I think what we saw from Josh Jacobs this year is something that we're not going to see all the time. I think he had his down year this season, and he should be bouncing back next year, assuming he's not suspended.
Agreed. Appreciate that $1.99 super chat, by the way, Lamar.
He's a risk for dynasty purposes, though, just to close that out because of the suspension. And
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I've been trying to flip Matt Ryan or Derek Carr to create a demand at quarterback so I can take one of the 4 quarterbacks with the 104 and just running back with my 2 seconds. Got Antonio Gibson.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's extreme value. Yeah, I agree. If you can flip like Matt Ryan or Derek Carr, heck, even Matt Ryan in like a second again, or Derek Carr in a second, and you can
I think
move up in the draft.
The best way to do that, Derek Carr is the hard one, right? Because he could get traded, right? Like there's some rumors about Derek Carr, and honestly, Matt Ryan could as well. But
yeah,
those guys are kind of difficult sells right now because there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding their situation. So especially with Derek Carr, I would not trade him until he gets traded.
Matt Matt Ryan, you can probably target like a championship level team or a team that finished with like the 110 or better. And again, you could flip the 205 and Matt Ryan to move up to the 110. I would do that in an instant because again, I view it as a tier after those 10 or 11 initial picks to fall down. So like if you're not getting again one of Pitts, one of those 4 receivers, so you're already at 5 picks, one of those 4 quarterbacks, you're at 10 or 9, and then the 2 or 3 running backs.
Yeah.
You're at the 111 there?
111, 112. I think the first round picks are in my opinion, because I know a lot of people a lot of people differ on how they see the receiver class. Some people like Rondale Moore a lot. Some people like, I don't know, whoever else is out there. I'm personally not one of those people. I think it's a very clear top 2 and then another very clear top 2 after those top 2. So
see, my clear top 2 is different from your clear top 2.
Yeah. So, but either way, we see the same 4 receivers at the top. And I think the first round dynasty pick, normally I would say, what's the difference between 112 and the 203? This year, I think it is a big difference.
Yeah, I agree. Because then again, you're looking at a guy like, I don't know.
That's Jaylen Waddle or Rashad Bateman to me, or Javonte Williams potentially versus
Michael Carter.
Versus Michael Carter or Kadarius Toney or
Mac Jones
or Amon-Ra St. Brown or something like that. To me, that's just a big difference.
Yeah, agreed. So we got Joseph back in here. What's up, boys? What's up? J.K. Dobbins and RB1 next year. Yeah, if he gets enough volume, he definitely will be.
I think with J.K. Dobbins, obviously the discussion with him is going to be efficiency versus volume because he is 100% going to be an efficient runner. And we've seen his propensity to be used on the goal line.
Didn't he average like 6.5 yards per carry?
People are going to tear him down a lot. Big name fantasy analysts and stuff, they're going to tear him down. They're going to be like, oh, he's only going to get 215 carries or whatever. And then they're also going to take Alvin Kamara at the 103, who gets literally never had more than 160 carries in the entire season.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, you're looking at it. First of all, I also do think that like Gus Edwards is going to be an incredible value next year. Like he's going to be. I think they're both going to be studs.
I don't know about that though, because I could see him very well going in like the Latavius Murray range, like where he went this year, like 7th, 8th round with Gus Edwards. If he's anywhere behind that, I think that's where he belongs to go. If he goes in the 9th, 12th, 11th round or something like that, then yeah, Gus Edwards will be on all my teams.
I would be fine taking him again, like as you mentioned, like the 7th, 8th round area. If you need like an RB2 to get you through, like say you go rookie heavy, you need a safe RB2 to get you through the first few weeks. I think Gus Edwards can give you that in spades. Like this is a guy that should be able to get you like 10 points per game through those first few weeks at the minimum. And then, like, say again, you're waiting on a Najee, you're waiting on an Etienne, you're waiting on a Williams to really break out.
Yeah, and all the added upside of Gus Edwards if anything were to happen to Dobbins too.
Bingo. So I do like him. He's got a little bit of a Kareem Hunt to him, obviously again without the pass catching upside. But yeah, like that type of running back, as far as handcuffs go, he's definitely going to be in like that top 4 type area for value in terms of handcuffs. So for sure, yeah, I do like Gus Edwards. But anyways, we're talking about Dobbins. I do think.
Speaking of, we'll probably head out if you're at the 1 hour mark. So we got about 2.5 minutes left. If you guys want to ask any last minute questions about this game, again, about your dynasty teams, again, if you guys want to join a dynasty league with us, you can do so in the description. There's a link to our website. You can read a couple free articles. Watch the video to see what's going to be in our draft guide, pre-order the draft guide, and you're going to get an automatic entry or a raffle for an automatic entry, depending on how many people pre-order it, to be in a listener dynasty league. And we already have a couple people already in there. So let's get to Joseph's questions here. I heard some bad news about Dak not being close to contract talk. What do we think about it? Even if that is true, he's going to get franchise tag.
Either way, he's not hitting the open market. He's either getting franchised or he's getting signed long-term now.
Just sign the dude. Like, just sign him.
I was clamoring for him to get signed when the fucking price was $33 million a year in 2018. I'm still clamoring for him to get that contract. Because for real, what people don't understand, and I've said it multiple times, and yes, take a drink. I'm going to mention economics yet again. People don't understand how economics works, okay? Just because you don't want to pay a guy $30 million, well, guess what? First of all, it's not even your money. Second of all, just because you don't want to pay him $30 million, cap space.
Oh, that's the other big time annoyance, right? When fans on Twitter don't want to pay someone, it's like, are you writing the check?
Yeah, for real. Or like their favorite player on the team is cap space. But what they don't understand is, Dak isn't a top 3 quarterback in the NFL right now. He shouldn't be making the 3rd most money, yada, yada, yada. Guess what? I know I have to say it because that's what they sound like in my head. But 39 or 40 million or whatever you sign him to now, let's just say hypothetically it's a tiny step up from what Deshaun Watson got, hypothetically, because again, supply and demand, he's next in line. In 2 years, once Josh Allen, once Lamar Jackson, once those guys get paid, they're going to use Dak's contract and get a little bit more on it.
And so not only that, but if Dak were to hit the open market, Indianapolis throw $45 million at him.
Yes.
Easily. And like again, supply and demand. How much does San Fran throw at him? How much does New England throw at him? How much does Washington throw at him? How much does New York Jets throw at him? How much does Denver throw at him? Like, think of all these teams that need quarterbacks. Like, if Dak hits the open market, he make $50 million a year.
Yeah, for real. So, I don't understand it. Like, again, people talk to the quarterback. I don't care.
Kirk Cousins got paid. Holy shit! If Dak hit the quarterback market, he would get $50 million. I bet Indianapolis would pay him $50 million a year.
Probably, yeah. But you look at it though, like in 2 or 3 years, whatever he signs is going to be like the 5th or 6th highest salary in the league. So at that rate, you're like, okay, if you don't view him as, I personally think he's like the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the league. But
I think if at minimum, he's a top 6 quarterback in the league.
Minimum, yes.
Yeah.
If you don't think he's there by 2 years, that contract's going to look cheap. So
as you mentioned too, once Lamar gets paid, once Josh Allen gets paid, once Justin Herbert gets paid, once potential Joe Burrow gets paid, Trevor Lawrence gets paid, like we could be talking 4 years from now or 3 years from now that Dak signed for $47 million or whatever, and it's like the 7th or 8th biggest contract at the quarterback position.
Yep. And one last question: I think he's going to find his way.
I think he definitely could, especially in home leagues. I think that's more likely in home leagues than it is in expert leagues or whatever the case is, because people are very recency bias in home leagues. And this is one thing that we're going to make sure to drill home to you guys is bounce back candidates are a real thing in home leagues, but the right bounce back candidates, not just because someone had a down year, they're automatically going to perform the next year, because a lot of people make that argument, but real bounce back candidates because of context and injuries and situation that probably changed, like someone like Austin Eckler, for example. That's the type of guys you want to be targeting. I think Zeke definitely fits that description, because what happened to Zeke was really out of his control. And there's going to be some people in home leagues that are like, oh, I don't want Zeke Elliott. He hasn't performed in a year. And I want the shiny new toy in Cam Akers instead. I want the shiny new toy in J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson and all these guys, potentially Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, instead of Zeke Elliott, who, I mean, at minimum, if everyone stays healthy on the offense, it's going to be top 5 running back.
Easily. Yeah, and I was going to mention that too. That 2-1 right behind me, you guys could see that whole offense crumble behind him. And I mentioned his targets when Dak was healthy. He was averaging over 7 targets per game. And this is a guy who scored 6 touchdowns in those 5 games. If he stays healthy and that offense is as explosive as it's going to be, and he's that involved in the receiving game and that involved in the touchdown game, even if he doesn't have like the 1,500 yards we're accustomed to on the ground from Zeke Elliott, he's going to be a top 5 running back from that receiving and touchdown production. Like we've seen it from freaking Alvin Kamara. Obviously, again, Zeke's not going to near 80.
Honestly, Zeke could realistically be average at best. Like he could be a 4 yards per carry guy, but he's going to score 13, 14, 15 touchdowns.
Yeah. And if he's doing that and catching like 65, 70 balls.
Even if he catches 40, dude, he'll still be a top 8 running back.
Easily, yeah. I think that's his floor, to be honest, 40.
Yeah, and again, that obviously needs, like, Dak needs to be back for that. And Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and the entire offensive line can't get hurt. Dude, you have to go into the clock app and stop. You can't hit snooze.
I'm not hitting snooze, though.
Okay, either way. So Jared Bullock says, heads or tails? Yeah, why do you have 70 alarms, dude? Jesus. All right, heads or tails, over, under. Okay, so heads or tails, I'm going to go with heads. I don't know why. I feel like heads make sense. Over under 210 for the national anthem. Who is singing the national anthem? It's Eric Church, right?
Yeah, if that's the case, I'm going over.
I feel like everyone goes over on the national anthem. It seems like a popular pick to go over, so I'm going to go with under 210. And Gatorade color, this one I've gone back and forth with. I don't actually, I bet this every year, but I didn't this year because the color I usually bet on is the favorite. Blue. Because it's orange. I always bet on orange because it's usually like +4 or like plus like 4 to 1 odds or like 6 to 1 odds to be orange. I'm like, yo, it's been orange like so often. I think because it's an orange and a red team with both orange and red in their colors, they're both the top 2 favorites. I'm pretty sure. I think the low key bet this year is like clear or like purple or something weird like green. lime or yellow or whatever the combination of colors is. I think lime, green, yellow, and whatever is the one I would go with if I were to place a bet.
I'm going with the blue. Not just because I like the Cowboys.
Yeah, 7 of the last 10 have been orange. Yeah, and I've literally bet orange 4 straight years, and it's been orange every year except for, I believe, the year the Patriots won it against the Rams. I think it was blue.
It's going to be blue this year. I'll tell you. Let me tell you.
I remember that year, too, they didn't show the Gatorade dump. And everyone was like, yo, what color was the Gatorade? What color was the Gatorade? No one saw it.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah,
so everyone was like, yo, what color was it? And then someone at the stadium took a video of it and put it on Twitter and was like, it was blue, guys.
Hey, they forged it. It's fake.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so get your last minute questions in here. We're going to head out and watch. I mean, I guess the game isn't on. We're used to the game being on like as we're finishing this. So now I'm going to be antsy for the next like 4 hours. But yeah, so if you guys have any last minute questions, Dynasty, Super Bowl, whatever the case is, we'll get to answering those. Make sure you guys tune in to our video on Monday when we break down our first rookie mock draft of the Dynasty season. And I mean, we already gave you kind of a preview of how we see tiers and all that kind of stuff. We'll go even more in depth on Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Any last second questions, leave them in.
Yeah. Well, if not, we'll head out of here at an hour and 6 minutes. So about 15, 30 seconds to go. If you guys have anything else.
It's nice talking to you guys again. Can't wait for next year. Appreciate that, Joseph. Nice seeing you. Oh,
sorry. I'm clicking it too. Yes. No worries, Joseph. Hopefully we see you around throughout the off season as well. We love the can't wait till next year talk, but let's keep it in this year, hopefully too.
Facts. Got 15 beers for the Bucks tonight. There you go.
Yeah, I got a lot of beers too.
Oh man, I got some brews. Oh, by the way, we were in a call yesterday. I downed a whole bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's a nice time. But I got the beers for later. I got some fucking whiskey. We're chilling, bro. We're
for sure. All right.
If you're not watching a Super Bowl completely like plastered, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, no, I need to be eating. We got chili and wings and shit in my house too, and to be fucking gonna be awesome. My whole family, so we're Canadian. You guys probably know that by now.
Yeah,
we don't really watch football around here. Like it's not generally that big of a deal in Canada. Everyone watches the Super Bowl, obviously, but no one really cares about football outside of me and Danny, and then like maybe 10% of the Canadian population. So my whole family's like, oh, like are the Bucks good? Like keep asking me questions about the Bucks because they know I'm a psychotic football freak. And we're all doing prop bets and stuff. So it's kind of fun that my family actually cares about football for once.
Oh man, like my whole family freaking loves football.
Yeah.
But that's also because I love it and I kind of inflict it on them.
Yeah, I'm starting to do that.
But I'll make sure to show up to support during the offseason. I appreciate that, Joseph. Actually, if you want to take a look too, you can see the little banner going across. I'll send the link in the chat, but feel free, take a look. That actually sent to both platforms.
Yep. And again, the articles that we wrote on Etienne and Waddle, they're totally free. Like you don't need to pay for anything. If you want it, like a message will come up for you to sign up your email to be a part of our email list for discount codes on the draft guide. You can do that. You don't have to do that. You can just read the articles and if maybe that's all you want out of us, then congrats. You got some free content out of us. That's not why we're doing this. We're not doing this to make money. We want to make money, but we do this because we love this shit.
Yeah. We love this shit and we love seeing you guys get that value. So we got Evan coming in here, another OG too. He's back.
Evan signing in late here.
Boys, how's life going? Who you got today? Okay, first of all, life's going well. We're chilling. As you can see the comment before, you were actually launching our rookie and dynasty draft guide. So if you want to check the 2 free articles up on there, we're going to mention it a ton. Go do so. Waddle and Etienne. Second of all, I got the Chiefs. He's got the Bucks, of course. I got Chiefs 31-27. He's got
31-30.
31-30.
Last minute field goal from Ryan Suckup to win the game.
I like it.
The reason they're in field goal range is because Carlton Davis, while guarding Tyreek Hill, gets a pick 6 to set them up.
Pick 6
to stay in the game in the fourth quarter. And then they get the offense in a 2-minute drill. Tom Brady does what he does, and they get in field goal range and Suckup drills it. And we have the voice of whatever that Patriots announcer was, instead of saying, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions with Adam Vinatieri hitting that kick. It's the Bucks and it's Gene Deckerhoff.
Dang.
That's the vision I have in my head.
vision I have is
But the Chiefs cover in that situation. 31-30. Or sorry, not the Chiefs cover. The Bucks would cover in that.
I was about to say, I'm like, it's kind of hard
like,
for the Chiefs to cover.
Yeah, no, they would need to win by more than 3.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. The thing I have envisioned in my head is Travis Kelce with that mic in his hand, just giving his Super Bowl speech after they win their
Why
second.
do you hate me? Why do you want Travis Kelce? Like, they already won last year.
Dude, Travis Kelce, and then
I want to see Levante David bawling his eyes out holding the Lombardi trophy.
Tyreek Hill's wearing those big goggles in the background, and like Mahomes is like dancing in the background.
I want to see Mike Evans and Levante David bawling their eyes out holding a Super Bowl trophy. That's all I want to see out of today. Those dudes that have been on this bad football team for 7 and 9 years. Like, I want to see them win the Super Bowl. Like, Tom Brady, you got enough Super Bowls. Like, I'm happy for you, but I'm not. But
what about LaShawn McCoy's revenge game?
Yeah, bro. It's LaShawn McCoy revenge game, bro. Like, that's Tyrann Mathieu revenge game too.
Yeah, for real. Good luck with all your bets. Appreciate that. I'm actually trying to figure out Bodog right now.
Yeah, so let's keep the fingers crossed on a 100-yard rushing day for Ronald Jones, Jamel Dean, Shaq Barrett, or Devin White to win Super Bowl MVP, and the Bucks to cover the spread. Those are the bets that I laid.
Bodog's not taking my money. It's frustrating. They're like literally just saying, no, we don't want your money. Like, what the heck? I'm trying to put $100 into your freaking site. Let me deposit so I can make some dang.
Did you use e-transfer or did you use your credit card?
Credit card.
Try the e-transfer one. That one works for me usually.
Okay, bet.
There's an e-transfer option to put it in there. Anyway, Evan says we'll check it out for sure. Yeah, so those link is in the description for that. I like the Chiefs winning and Kelce winning MVP. I don't like that, but I do think if the Chiefs win, Kelce could definitely be a big part of that reason that they win. Yeah,
for sure. You know, what about Anthony Hitchens MVP? No kidding.
Now watch Daniel Sorensen win it or something.
God,
like the one guy that bet on Daniel Sorensen to put like. There's always going to be, if there's a random obscure guy that wins MVP, there's going to be some idiot in the world that put like $100 for him to win MVP, and he's going to win like 50 grand or something.
For real. I'm from Tampa, guys. I know Jets fans rooting for the Bucks. Why? Why are Jets fans rooting?
Yeah, why would you be rooting? Why would the Jets fans be rooting for the Bucks? Don't they hate Tom Brady?
Yeah, like that's what I don't get. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, we'll take all the help we can get. We're going to need it. The Patrick Mahomes experience is not one that I wanted to play in the Super Bowl. I wanted to play Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. Also, make sure if you guys wash your hair before this game, no one's allowed to use Head and Shoulders because then you're supporting the Chiefs.
I ate steak last night, though.
If you're eating steak, you can't put ketchup on it. If you're
wait. First of all,
you cannot have ketchup in general, too. Also, cheeseburgers, Andy Reid's favorite post-game meal. Can't eat those. Jesus Christ, Danny. You can't have any cheetah print on. No cheetah print is allowed. If you look like Travis Kelce, you're not allowed to wear earrings.
I look like Travis Kelce, right?
You're not allowed to watch the Muppets either because Kermit the Frog sounds like Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of do's and don'ts of this game, and anything that involves the Chiefs is not allowed.
You mentioned
no Kansas City barbecue either.
You mentioned ketchup on steak. That's just like a no-go in life.
Yeah, that is a no-go in life. Like, are we actually going to sit here and cheer for a guy that puts ketchup on his steak?
That's disgusting, man. Ew.
Like, no, we're gonna cheer for the guy that has avocado ice cream, not the guy who puts ketchup on steak.
Yeah, like the only acceptable places to have ketchup are like on a burger and your fries.
And if you're Canadian and chips.
Yeah.
Ketchup chips. That's
ketchup chips. Yeah, ketchup chicks are pretty elite too. But aside from that, I'm like people putting it on their steak. Some people probably put it on their vegetables. Like fuck.
Yeah, probably.
Because in Tampa, people just pick and choose when to root for Tampa Bay. The Bucks, the Rays.
I mean, so being from the Toronto area in Canada, I can tell you the exact same thing happened when the Raptors were in the NBA Finals. It's kind of just the way things go. And honestly, I don't really blame them for not rooting for Tampa Bay the last couple of years because we sucked. So, and same goes for the Rays, I believe. I don't think the Rays were very good for a while, and everyone was kind of just Lightning fans because they were the only Tampa sports team that was really good.
Yeah, for real. But yeah,
ketchup on scrambled eggs. Is kind of
okay. That's fair, but like steak and like fine meats like that, like oh no.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna head out of here. Peace out, guys. Glad you guys tuned in. Hopefully you can tune into the rest of our content. We're going to be coming at you right when the Super Bowl ends. We're into free agency. We're into draft stuff. We got a big series planned where we're talking about prospects in depth. So if you guys are curious about Jaylen Waddle, you can go read Danny's article, or you can tune in when we talk about him in-depth breakdown. Same goes for Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, all those guys. We're going to be talking about them all in depth. So make sure you guys are tuning into the channel. Keep those notifications bell on. And for those of you guys that tuned into this live stream, I want to see you comment on every single video, because you guys know how much comments help us out. Like all the videos, YouTube algorithm, Danny's thing, economics, all that stuff. We will be heading out of here shortly so we can enjoy the Super Bowl. Hopefully you guys have a good Super Bowl Sunday, and hopefully the Bucks bring it home.
For sure. Yeah. The Chiefs, No, I'm kidding. Anyways, take it easy, y'all.